Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. How are you and you and you? It's so great to have all of you here. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a good day today. This hair is getting really long, isn't it? Look how long this hair is. It's amazing how long it is when I don't have the hat on or I don't have it pulled back. Tonight, we figured we would just go let it do its thing and just let it breathe. And it is certainly doing that. And I think it looks kind of cool. Like it's the longest we've ever had it in my entire life. I didn't even have it this long as a kid. But we're trying to get to that 1 year mark. I think it's somewhere in the late April. It will have been 1 year since I had the haircut. We're able to do different tricks, as you guys know. I was doing a news segment at a television studio, and we had to make it coiffed. So we did that turtleneck tutorial where I was able to pull it back and turn it into, sort of tuck it into the turtleneck, which was great because when I looked straight at the camera in the TV studio, it looked short and coiffed. And then sometimes we pull it back, sometimes we pull it up and then put the hat over it. Today we were out in between all the work we had earlier today. You know, I do this work professionally in television, radio, and multimedia as a TV and radio personality, presenter, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC, voiceover artist. So we were busy today with that work. And then we went for a walk just before this live show along the coast. And beautiful day today. Very sunny, very nice. And we're starting to get into that spring-like weather, although it's not quite spring on the calendar yet. This Saturday, the clocks go ahead, so make sure you put your clock ahead. That's right. We're starting to spring forward, so the clock goes ahead as well. My name is Jim Masters, and this is the name that you see on the screen there. This is the Jim Masters Show Live. Wow. There's the short hair right there. Good to have everybody with us, and good to have you with us, and we welcome you. Hope you're having a good day. If you're not having a good day, well, this is the place to come to be sparked up, perked up, and get a smile on your face. We've been doing these shows since, late April, early May of last year. It's, I think, roughly over 300 episodes of this entertainment lifestyle talk show series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation and in the old school style of those old school talk shows and those wonderful hosts and presenters of the past, but yet with a modern vibe and a modern twist of today. With every category imaginable in life that we're basically talking about here, with amazing guests, inspiring conversations, and viewers, as well as guests coming from an international perspective from not only the United States or our neighbors to the north in Canada, but literally from all around the world. And it's pretty cool. We have some inspiring, in-depth conversations. This is unique, this broadcast, to what's out there because of the way we do the broadcasts. We don't just sing. We don't just pluck a guitar. We don't just bake bread. I mean, we do basically everything you can think of and have some really good conversations. And we bring you in. The audience, they are our lovities. Now, how'd that happen? Well, I was saying light, love, and levity a little too fast in the summertime. And then, of course, that word became something that I've said it was an accident. And everybody's like, no, it's not an accident, Jim. That's exactly what it was meant to be. It was meant to be levity. So we've run with that word, that sort of phraseology, to really talk about what the show is. And it's a word we've sort of coined with this show. And I think it's quite amazing. So the viewers call themselves the Lovities. They call me Mr. Levity. They call this studio Levity Hall. They're part of our Levity squad. And we're going to check in with some of them right now. But first, just want to let you know, we've got an amazing guest joining us here. He's a brilliant recording artist, musician, guitarist, singer, actor, screenwriter, and jack of all trades. Ned Hartford is joining us here on the program. He's actually all positioned with his guitar. He's going to be performing live. He has some wonderful music he wants to share with us live as we welcome him to the show. And of course, we toast all of you and we welcome you to the Jim Masters Show Live as well. Hope, again, you're having a good day wherever you're watching around the world. Everybody is welcome to join us on the Jim Masters Show Live. This thing is filled to the brim tonight. We want to make sure that it doesn't spill. Looks fancy. It's just Trader Joe's cranberry juice. That's all it is in there. Just Trader Joe's cranberry juice. And it's really good. It's the organic one. It's not too tart and it's not too sweet. It's right there in the middle. Sometimes cranberry juice can be overly sweet, too sugary, and sometimes it can be too tart, just a little too tart. Right in the middle there, and really, really good. So let's say hello to our Hump Day audience. I know you guys are talking about it being Hump Day. It is Wednesday. Maureen says, happy Hump Day, Jim and fellow lovelies. I hope you all had a fantastic day. I'm excited to meet Ned and see what he has to share with us. He has quite a bit. Good to see you, Maureen, in Arizona. Again, we have a very interactive Lovity audience from our Lovity squad, and they can participate. If you want to comment during the show live as well, you certainly can. Everybody watching on our YouTube channel, if you haven't, we would love it if you subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our content. We have the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series, and then we also have another series, Masters Mantras, which are the visual and verbal inspiring videos, and we just posted 2 new ones this week that a lot of people seem to be enjoying. So those series are both at Jim Masters TV. And share the channel. Let everybody know about the channel and about this show so we can share the Lovity. Happy Wednesday, Jim and Lovities. One day closer to the weekend. Kathy Short, absolutely. Good to see you there in Cleveland. Linda says, good evening, Mr. Lovity, and good evening, Lovities. Good to see you in Florida. In beautiful St. Augustine, of course, we welcome everybody here as well. It's nice to see everybody today. And Juanita says, our power just went out after 2.5 hours of load shedding earlier. Hope it comes on soon. It doesn't kick me out. Our Wi-Fi went down about a half hour before the show, so we had to restart the Wi-Fi and the modem and all of that. Took out the TV, the computers, everything. The phones. Don't you just love when that randomly happens for no reason at all? There's never an explanation. It just happens. You got to restart everything. Well, that's about 30 minutes ago what happened. Hey, Jim and everyone. Kathleen in New York City. Good to see you. Cheers from Merlin in Canada. Amy is here. It's Lovity time. Woohoo. Amy, thank you very much. And good evening, Ned. You're a Lovity now. Ned loves the whole Lovity situation. He's watched several episodes of our series. He really, really likes it. He's a fan of our show. He's a fan of everything we talk about. And so we appreciate that. So he's very familiar with the Jim Master Show Live episodes and just what we're all about on our broadcast series here. And from Northern Ireland's Green Queen Army, that is Chris in the Belfast area, Northern Ireland. Hey, Jim, hope you're well. You watched episode 2 of a 3-part docuseries on Netflix UK called They Gotta Have Us, which traces the history of Black cinema. That's fantastic. Really nice, Chris. I'll have to check that out. Hair looks great, Jim. Thank you very much, Mary. I appreciate that. I love your hair, Jim. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal, you've seen me on public television. It's probably the longest you've ever seen it, right? I absolutely love your hair. Oh, boy. Yeah, to be quite honest, I didn't have to do anything. When I put it in the hat or when I pull it back or do those other things I have to do with it, it's a pain in the neck. It takes like 20 minutes. Today, I just let it hang. I just let it did its thing. You know what it is? It's reached a certain weight now where it doesn't go like this, or I become Captain Kangaroo. It's sort of the weight pulls it down. But you know how long it took for that to be the case? Again, there are some television projects where I need it to be more coiffed and shorter. But since we've been going through pandemics and all this other stuff, I said, it wasn't meant to go this long. It was just something that now it's a challenge. It's like driving to Florida. You just want to get there and keep going from the Northeast. So I want to reach that year point. So at least I can say, when I'm 99 years old, having lemonade on a rocking chair on a porch, looking at our beautiful pool and garden. Remember that time during that pandemic back in 2020, 2021, when I let my hair grow shoulder length? I never did this before, but it's a lot of fun. Hi, Jim. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Looking forward to an exciting show with amazing music, inspiring conversation. I love it. Absolutely. Crystal Nolan, good to see you as well. Thanks for all the compliments about the hair. I appreciate that. My pictures that I post on Facebook and everything else are interesting because sometimes the hair is short, sometimes it's long, sometimes it's darker, never darker, but lighter. Summertime, it gets a little lighter. Hi, Jim, and hi, Lovities. Good to see you, Merlin in Canada. And Oisnet, good evening, Jim, and hi, Lovities. Happy Wednesday. Good to see everybody here, and we welcome everybody and all these great comments. Christine Clifton is here. Greetings, Jim and Levity friends. Welcome Ned to the show tonight. Excited to hear more of his career in Levity Hall. Absolutely. And hi, Jim and Levities. Yes, love your hair too. Mona in Louisiana. Thumbs up. Lots of thumbs up. That's great. I think it's probably the first time you've seen the hair in a while this long. I look sort of like a somebody that's on those romance novels, like one of those. I'm not Greek, but I look like a Greek guy on a horse that comes in and swoops you off your feet. Does that even still happen anymore? Just in those novels. Hi, everyone. Renee is here. Renee, good to see you in Iowa. We love when Renee's here. Hello to Bernie and hello to your family. Hope everybody's doing well. And time to welcome our very special guest to the Jim Masters Show Live. Ned Hartford, great name. Capital city of Connecticut, too, is Hartford. It's so great to have Ned here. We really appreciate it. And Fabio, Ned just privately chatted and he says sort of Fabio-like. Yes, the English, Irish, Swedish, and French Fabio, Mr. Masters, is here. My hair and beard are so long, you look like Teen Wolf. We can't tell from the picture that you put there. That doesn't look like Teen Wolf, your profile picture. You'll have to show us a picture, Chris, in Northern Ireland. Great to have everybody here. We appreciate it. And again, great to have Ned here as well. He's a brilliant artist, and we've had an opportunity to chat with him. Right out of college, he moved to New York City with the goal of getting his music to the legendary Columbia Records talent scout, John Hammond, which he did after a dramatic audition. He was being signed to a major label deal. Mr. Hammond, considered many to be the greatest talent scout in the history of modern music. And they were recording in the studio, beginning to work on what was to be his debut album when he had a massive stroke, John did, and died not soon after that. He was dropped by the label and management. Legendary concert promoter Bill Graham, after a few development deals stalled in New York City, he moved to Nashville, where he had a publishing deal with an indie rock record deal. I'll let him tell us a bit more about that, but he has written musicals. He's worked in theater. He's an incredible performer. He also has this incredible project called the Renewal Project, songs about forgiveness and healing. And we talk a lot about that here on the Jim Masters Show Live as well. So I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation and all the wonderful music as we welcome live right now from New York, not from Hartford, but from New York, Ned Hartford. Ned, that's a cool picture. You look like a soap opera star in that picture, my friend. Are you on Days of Our Lives or Young and the Restless? Sure looks there from the shot.
I was actually, I think I was cast on when I had my record deal back with John Hammond, and then he had the stroke. We were, like I said, we were in the recording studio. We would, he booked a recording studio on the west side of Manhattan, literally, so that we would stop along the way and get cigarettes, Kit Kat bars, and hot dogs, because he couldn't have any of those things because he'd already had a couple of heart attacks.
Yeah.
And he'd eat these things and he'd enjoy a cigarette. And we get to the studio and he was not feeling well. And I ended up having to carry him down 4 flights of stairs to a cab, took him crosstown to Lenox Hill Hospital. And then after, the situation with Columbia ended, or with Epic Records, part of us.
It's a shame they dropped you upon his death. They didn't say, gee, he's really talented. Why don't we keep him and we'll assign him to somebody else that will work, another producer or whatever that will work with you. It's a shame that happened in that way.
There's a lot of politics that go on, and John Hammond actually hadn't been at the label for a while. He was their most famous A&R person. The phrase.
Yeah.
But they had a mandatory retirement age at 65. So he retired. He was still bringing them acts.
Yes.
He brought them Stevie Ray Vaughan, but he wasn't even at the label.
Boy, yeah.
They tried to convince him to sign Laurie Anderson. They wouldn't. They thought she was too strange. And, but they had just brought him back because CDs were just coming out. That's how old I am. CDs were just coming out.
We're not talking certificates of deposit either.
And they needed someone to go through back catalog because they couldn't keep up with the releases. So they had to sort of chart which albums they would re-release first on CD. So that was John Hammond's job. He was also getting a Lifetime Achievement Award Grammy that year, and it was a little embarrassing to the label not to have him on board. So they brought him back out of retirement. And I got into his office. His secretary at one point called out security because she thought I was a potentially dangerous human being because I was pretty persistent. Very nice, but relentlessly persistent. And she got sick and was out of the office. And I called for the umpteenth time, and he picked up the phone. And he was just curious because I was so persistent. And since she wasn't in the office, he was like, come on in.
Yeah.
So I came in and we talked and we really hit it off. I went in on the premise. I just said, I'm a huge fan. Would you sign your autobiography for me? Which was true. I mean, perhaps I had more things I wanted out of the situation, but that was it. And so he signs his autobiography. And he goes, I have to meet somebody else now. So, but this has been great, Ned. It's been great meeting you. And I was like, there's something else. He goes, I know you're a songwriter and you want to play me your songs. How about Friday? And I was like, and so he said, you're going to get 3 songs, make them good. And I said, because I had said, you want me to drop off a demo tape? He said, no, just bring your axe. And I literally was like, what's an axe? I mean, I could be a little dense at times. So,
you think it's the headphones or?
I don't know. It's just too much loud music and what things I did in my teenage years. Oh, by the way, you hear that ding?
Yes.
That's the elevator. I live in a small 1-bedroom New York City apartment. Just beyond this room divider.
Yeah.
That's my kitchen. So if like a woo comes on at one point, that's the compressor to the refrigerator, which is right there.
So glad that you explained that, because I thought that ding, you were having an aha moment.
I usually have those like every few seconds because it takes me a while to catch up.
Well, how if you watch, which I know you watch this show and you're a fan of the show, since you're describing some of the things about the room, tell us about the room you're in and the things that are around you.
Well, this is a Mic Tech CV4 microphone, small boutique mic maker out of Nashville, Tennessee, using Telefunken parts. It's really at the level of a Neumann. Half the price. Gotta love it. Yeah, you can't really see much here. I've got one guitar here. I've got a Gretsch that I'm going to play tonight instead of the acoustic. My arm's a little sore. Got my vaccine today, and my arm's hurting a little. So,
congratulations on the vaccine. Yes,
I'm a Pfizer kind of guy.
Yeah,
which is wonderful. And the other thing is if I was playing the acoustic, I'd have to mic it, which would mean another mic, which could pick up more room noise or the elevator in the hallway.
Yeah.
So it's just better for me to go direct with the guitar. But anyway, I've got nice speakers. You can't see my nice computer. Got this nice keyboard you can't see.
Theater of the mind.
I know. I do so, and
And are you wearing pants? Or we will never know that.
Absolutely.
Who knows if I am?
It doesn't really matter because you've got
just focus on the hair.
Let me tell you, back in the 80s when I had all this stuff happening with,
I think they want you to talk up, maybe because you're further from the mic. They're saying,
sure,
please speak up, maybe. Or
the thing is, I'll just face the mic. It should be much. How's it now?
Well, the mic that looks like that, you should be able to get a guy that's playing cards in his den in Maryland.
I wanted to say something, and let me see in the comments.
Sorry, we're out of time. Right. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, right. What I wanted to say was, and we had said this in the little
much better. They're saying much better.
Good.
Don't worry. Live reports from the Lovities.
When I start singing, you're going to be glad that it's a little softer because I have a strong
booming voice, right?
But as we were talking about beforehand, I had not seen the show before. The wonderful June Ospa asked me to, can I put you in touch with Jim and maybe be on the show? And as we were talking beforehand, I watched a bunch of the episodes, and I wanted to say again, it's good to butter up the host because then they're nice to you. Like if you can't figure out what to say, they'll help you through everything.
They'll help you through.
Let me tell you, this Jim Masters guy, I can't believe you've been doing this. Like This past year for me, it wasn't just a pandemic. I won't go into the detail, but this was a tough year. There were days I was in the corner, like trembling at how hard this year was. And every night, every episode, you're like so warm and giving and interested in what your guests have to say. Now, I may put you to the test tonight. Who knows? I've been known to drive people crazy. But and I'm also a little worried. I'm doing okay, it seems like, but I'm a little worried about being able to put together coherent sentences after like being locked down for a year. I mean, I've only talked pretty much to my wife, the director of one of my shows that's in development, and my cat. I will warn you, Jim, it's probably better off that we're like in your virtual, because the way I talk to my cat is I say I love you, and then I put my face in her side and I purr really heavily, and she really likes it, and that's the way we talk. And if I did that to you, you might get uncomfortable.
Not until you have that second dose. We've gone through, it used to be, what was it? Brill cream, a little dab will do you. Now it's a little dose will do you.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So I'm surprised somebody hasn't thought of that yet. And come up with a song, right? Write that down, Ned. That might be a good song. A little dose will do you.
It changes over the years what it means. Right?
Yeah. So that's a nice setup you've got there. And so the arm is feeling okay with the first.
Okay.
It was just a couple of hours ago, right? How long did it take you to be able to sign up and then get your vaccine? Was it weeks and weeks, or were you able to get it relatively quickly?
My wife was able to go online and get it pretty quickly once we knew I would be eligible. Which was great. And we went over to Medgar Evers in Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn. And that's a federally run site. And they said they're running at 99% capacity. I know there was an article in the Times yesterday about people signing up for extra doses. That place, unfortunately, doesn't have the extra doses. But the good thing is that they are cranking them in and out. They are doing an absolutely stellar job there. The volunteers, the military who were there staffing the place, and everyone is so nice, and they get you in and out really fast. They're great.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And you're feeling good, just the arm a little bit sore, and that's it, which is normal, right?
Yeah.
Comes with any shot. Yeah. Renee Nolan says, nice sweater, Ned.
She gave it to me. That's my mother-in-law.
Yeah. Your mother-in-law is here.
Yeah.
Your mother-in-law, based on her profile photo, I would say is as beautiful as a red rose.
Oh my goodness. She's wonderful.
Considering her profile photo is a red rose. You sure her name isn't Rose?
No, it's Renee.
Welcome, Renee. It's nice to have you with us here on the show. Christine says, welcome to the show, Ned. You're now a Lovity. We're ready to hear more of your career and music. Just want to show you. So you've been watching the show and you enjoy the series then?
Oh, yeah. No, I think you do an absolutely great job.
Did you say yeah and no? Which is it?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people do that.
That's a bad.
I posted that on Facebook once as one of those observations. Have you noticed that a lot of times you'll ask something and people will go, yeah, no. It's kind of like, oh, I'm still not sure. Is it yes or is it no? You've said both. I don't know when that started, when people started saying that. Yeah, no. Because they don't go, no, yeah. It's usually, yeah, no.
We all have these little verbal fill things that it's like our mind's working and we just sort of throw things.
It's like a connector. It's like saying, or if you listen to Anderson Cooper a lot on CNN, he says, a lot, in between as like bridges to sentences. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll actually say to the TV, actually, I don't know. That's why I'm watching you. So you can tell me. But
listen, I'm just, like I said, I am simply thrilled that I seem to be putting sentences together. This is a huge
under these circumstances, right? Exactly.
If I had my cat right here, all I'd be doing is going.
Oh, if you had the cat there, this audience would love that. They love pets. They love food. They love children. The thing is, once the cat comes in, And again, your cat is more than welcome. The cat becomes the star, and Ned becomes second
Oh, absolutely.
fiddle.
Yeah.
Always that you'll see the Lovity Squad start talking about the cat. What's the cat's name?
Miette, which means little crumb in French.
Very nice. I like that. We had a cat whose name was Black Cat with Yellow Eyes that we had adopted from a shelter, a beautiful cat named Pompous. It was a perfect name for the cat, Pompous, because the personality, Pompous. Because we had said, if we ever get a cat, it'll be Pompous. Kathy Short says, and she's never short on compliments. Welcome to the show, Ned from Cleveland, Ohio, and from I was going to say Oahu, actually Oscom. I wish it was Oahu, and I wish we were all there together. Renee is in Iowa. I think if you take Iowa and you spell it backwards, is it Oahu? No. She's in a tornado watch right now. That's dedication. She's had ice storms, snowstorms, lockdowns, flat tires, and anything. But through it all, she is here always as a Lovity. That's what you call a true Lovity.
Well, Renee, I have played Iowa many times in the past. And in fact, one of the places that was my favorite place to play whenever on tour was a place called CSPS that was in Iowa City, Legion Arts. I don't know if they're still there. I think they closed up, but it's a gorgeous space and they treated you so well. And it was a place I played a lot and really loved it. And all of Iowa, the Midwest is great if you're doing the solo acoustic thing, especially. There were times I toured with a band and times I toured solo acoustic. And, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, those are all great states for supporting folk artists, which is what I was for a while.
Exactly.
It's like when you have a band, you're a rock singer-songwriter, and as soon as you lose the deal, you're touring solo, and suddenly the same songs, you're suddenly a folk singer.
Yeah, for suddenly a folk. Juanita says you should do a quick movie before cutting your hair, Jim. Yeah, I should probably get some headshots this way, right? But it'd be hard to grow it, in time for whatever the gig or project is. They'd have to do extensions or something. Kathleen says she's in New York. She says, welcome, Ned. Crystal in Connecticut says, hi, Ned. Welcome to Lovity Hall. Linda in St. Augustine, Florida. Good evening, Ned. You're a Lovity now. Welcome to the show. You feel all the Lovity? Juanita in South Africa says, welcome to the show, Ned. Ann is in River City, Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome, Ned. Great. Looking forward to an amazing evening with you. And Renee says we're under a tornado watch there in Iowa. We send her and everybody there the best, but through the tornado watch, she still says, welcome, Ned.
Once again, Renee, I'm with you because I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and we saw
they had a derecho storm come through last summer. It's they're getting hit with everything. Hey, welcome, Ned. And this is from Pamela, who's in Ireland. She's welcoming you as well. Mona in Louisiana says, welcome, Ned, to Lovity Hall. She says, it's great to have you here. And Chris, who's in Northern Ireland and Belfast, welcome to Lovity Hall family as well. Juanita likes your room divider. They love that. And Maureen says she is in the healthcare industry in Arizona. And she says, glad you got your vaccine. Thank you for helping get this virus in the rear view mirror. I agree. Really, really nice to say that. And Amy goes, welcome, Ned. Looking good in blue. Nothing but Lovity spoken here, Ned. Welcome. Renee's an hour west of Iowa City. June says, great to see you all. Our dear friend June. Hi, June. We love you, June. Merlin in Innerskip, Ontario, Canada. Hi, Ned, and welcome. So lots of Lovity here on the Jim Masters Show live, huh?
Yes. Well, maybe I should just play a song.
It would be nice to kick it off, and then we'll talk about, your inspirations, how you got started, and all the cool things we like to talk about with some of our guests. But that's a beautiful guitar. If you can, show us the guitar.
Yeah, this is a Gretsch. So it's just what happened. It's really nice because it allows me to be on stage and kind of bridge a little bit, being between acoustic and electric. One of the nice things with the little setup I've got working here tonight is that this really nice mic I have picks up some of this. You can hear it. So it picks up some of the string noise, but then I go up here to my computer and I turn this on, and I've got, so that just makes a, and also, I mean, we didn't really do a sound check. I think I sound good, and I know my loudness levels are good because I check those. But
Greg S says Ned Hartford fan. Great hair, Jim.
you know what? Quickly, Jim. Back in the '80s, I had hair that was down my back, and men, when they grow long hair, especially when they're a youthful fellow like yourself, it just naturally, like you were saying, you don't do anything to it. You don't have to. Men's hair is a little different.
Yeah.
And hairstylists have told me this. And I had hair down my back. And like you said, the weight really helps. But I had these long curls going down my back. And twice in New York City, 2 different times, women stopped me on the street, were furious with me.
That you had that.
Let me guess, you wake up and you just towel it dry after showering. And I said, yeah, that's it. And they were furious. So flaunt it, love it, live it. It's yours.
Well, we don't want to make nobody's furious, right? Ladies, are you furious? Guys, anybody? Thanks for the great comments, everybody. So we've got Ned Hartford here, live from New York City. And what is the song you're going to grace our presence with?
It's a song. I start a lot of shows with it just because it's kind of the song that always kind of describes where I am. It's called who I am. It's called Mess.
Oh, I like that. All right. Live on the show, here's Ned Hartford.
There once was a story, but the story was me. Told me who I was and was going to be. First you speak, then you learn to spell. Finally you get your own story to tell. Yeah, these are all the pertinent tales. These are all my messages to me, yeah. Here it is, the garbage and the grail. It's a mess, but it's making sense to me. Things people have said, things people have done. Get inside of my head before I've even begun. Makes me mad that I've wasted time letting their stories mess with mine. Yeah, these are all the pertinent tales. These are all those messages to me, yeah. Here it is, the garbage and the grail. It's a mess, but it's making sense to me, yeah. Making sense to me, yeah. Making sense to me. These are all the pertinent tales. These are all my messages to me. Yeah. Here it is, the garbage and the grail. It's a mess, but it's making sense to me. Making sense to me. Making sense to me. There once was a story, but the story was me.
Really nice, my friend. Really, really nice.
Did that sound good together? The
Oh,
voice?
actually, it was ideal.
Oh,
Yeah,
good, good.
yeah. Don't inhale right now.
I know.
You've got the.
I can't.
That's
I've
not a
told
potato chip.
I've said to myself, probably a million times, because I'll be working. And when I'm working on writing the musicals I write, or this whatever, or working here in the studio, like doing arrangements for songs that are in these musicals, or writing the songs, I become an absolute blithering idiot. I'm the kind of person who misses appointments. I like consciously have to tell myself, walking on New York City streets when I'm writing and in this mode, okay, you're coming up to an intersection. You have to look both ways. I mean,
Choices to be made. Yes.
and when I'm sitting here in the studio, lost in thought, and I do that, which is what I do all the time, every single time I do it, I go, I could kill myself, because all I have to do is go, oh, an idea. Like the elevator could go off, and I'd go ding, and I'd breathe in, and then
or you put water on the stove, and then you forget that the water is boiling on the stove.
Destroyed pots, because I'm in the studio recording, and I think, oh man, I'd really like a cup of coffee. So I go down and put one of those little espresso pots that go on the stove, mochas. I put a mocha on the stove, and it's like melted. The iron ore is melted into a puddle, and things like that. So yeah.
But just remember, if you're on the street, just remember what they used to say years ago: cross at the green, not in between.
Well, did you know, and this is just a word for all of our New York City audience, that most pedestrian traffic deaths, and I don't mean to bring in any negativity here, it's just a word to the wise. Most New York City traffic pedestrian fatalities occur when people are obeying the light, and it's because of buses, taxis,
running,
bicycle messengers,
right on red and everything. Left on red, which shouldn't be.
So in New York City, it's not just following the light.
Renee's clapping and giving you standing ovations, and Mona in Louisiana, great song and great voice, beautiful guitar, nice beat and nice song from Linda in Florida. Loved it from Ann Wozniak in the Jacksonville area in Florida, and Cleveland, Kathy Short, bravo, and hearts and claps. And Jim got a question for you and Ned. Who would you least like to be stuck in an elevator with, and why?
Dead
or alive? I mean, past people, or because there's a lot of past people. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in an elevator with Hitler or Mussolini or any of them.
But Jim, here's the thing. There's that famous quote that sometimes attribution gets kind of weird with these things. It's supposedly Gandhi, and it's, if you can't find God in the next person you meet, you might as well give up. So, maybe there's the person you least want to be on that elevator with is the person you're supposed to be on the elevator with. Who knows?
Doesn't that happen often? Sometimes.
I'm just throwing it out to you, Chris. I don't know.
Dalai Lama would be pretty good to have in that elevator. But then you'd want to hit like the brake on the elevator so you can have a really good, deep conversation. Who would you want to be on the elevator with besides your, of course, better half?
My wife, my lovely wife, the incredible theater director, Emily Hartford.
Who would you like to be?
Who would I like to be on an elevator with? Boy,
could be in any area: music, film, television, life.
My wife and I joke about this all the time, that we really just want to be good friends with Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally and get to hang out with them.
And just get to hang out with them.
They just seem like the nicest, fun people in the world.
Can you imagine what it would have been to be on an elevator with somebody like a Jackie Gleason or any of that, those types of people? I would like to be in an elevator with Dick Van Dyke.
Oh,
Dick Van Dyke.
Did you ever see that? You probably, but you can see it. I think on YouTube or something. But the Columbo episode he did is like one of the top rated ones. He played a psychiatrist, and he was really good.
Yes.
Do you remember that TV show?
Yes. Columbo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell them.
we
Yeah.
watched a few of them during pandemic. We watched there was this incredible one with Donald Pleasance who plays a
A
winemaker. That
lot of
one, and
people. Yeah.
I don't know.
June writes Dick. Yeah. Van
Yeah,
Dyke. Van
yeah.
Dyke. Sounds like Van Dyke. Okay. Christine, great voice. Loved it.
Oh,
Great
good.
song.
I'll play more. Chris, I
Great
think,
song. Great voice.
and then
Claps.
for Chris and your other friends in Ireland who watch, later on, I don't know.
Ireland, South Africa, the
Yeah, you got them.
Netherlands,
Yeah.
Brazil, Canada. They're all over. Australia, New
I
Zealand.
later on maybe I'll do it's a song I wrote, an a cappella song about Northern Ireland. Back when I had the deal with John Hammond, he actually was gonna he wanted to record. That was sort of it was the sort of the song that made him want to sign me. I was supposed to play 3 songs. I ended up playing an hour.
Mm.
So he just said, play more. And I wasn't ready. And I just kept playing songs. And I finally did this song. I tried this song that I had just written, which was this a cappella song, has lots of lyrics. And I was just like, oh, geez, am I even going to remember it? But I did it. I got through it. And when I finished this song about Northern Ireland, he just paused and he says, all right, I've heard enough.
Mm.
And then that was it. He
And that
didn't
was
say anything. And then he just kind of turned away and he picked up the phone. I thought, okay, the interview's over. He called the head of Epic Records, Don Dempsey, and he goes, and he had this sort of patrician accent. He goes, Don, John here. John Hammond was a member of the Vanderbilt family. He was a scion, but he threw it all away to sign jazz artists like Duke Ellington and Count Basie and Billie Holiday.
So I wonder if there's a connection to Gloria Vanderbilt and Anderson Cooper.
Oh yeah,
Same connection.
So Hammond was part of that family and supposed to go in banking, but instead he went into signing jazz artists and hanging out with communists and being a huge civil rights advocate. But he picks up the phone, calls the head of Epic Records, Don Dempsey, and he goes, Don, John here. I think I have just discovered the next Dylan, the next Springsteen. We must sign him immediately. And
Wow.
John Hammond had signed Dylan and Springsteen. So,
Right.
and so, but here I am in this office. I mean, I was a solo acoustic artist who had never even been really in a recording studio before. I had trouble holding pitch. I mean, I was so green and inexperienced. And here is the greatest talent scout in the history of music going, I've just discovered the next Dylan and Springsteen. And
right. Yeah.
then one day I walk into his office while we're trying to get everything going. And there's this guy I recognize sitting in the chair. And John Hammond introduced it. It's Bill Graham. And Bill Graham was there because there was all this press about me. He wanted to be my manager. So that became his wanting to manage me was sort of dependent on me having the deal. And once the deal fell apart, he didn't want to be my manager anymore. So that kind of went out the window. But for a while, it was pretty amazing.
So when he had the stroke and the whole world unraveled, what happened for you from there? Did you give up on it? Did you pause? Did you stick with it?
Well, I was able to put together a couple of development deals. People were still interested in me. People at different publishing companies and record companies were able to get me some money to keep recording. And I had some recording engineer friends who are now like, big Grammy award-winning producers. But back then they were just really young engineers who back then, nobody had home studios. So what you'd have to do, you'd have to have a friend who was like on staff at the power station or the record plant and or the hit factory or something, like an assistant engineer who'd work 80 hours a week. And then on the weekend would still work because he'd get to bring his friends in, our spec acts, and you'd have 3 days, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday to record 3 songs. That would be your demo for the labels. So you had to get it all done in basically 2.5 days. And that's the way it worked back then. That's the only way you get a good enough demo put together. And so I worked with those folks and got better at what I was doing. But the development deals, some of them, they made clear from the start they couldn't sign me because they already had too many male singer-songwriters on the label, but they wanted me to keep working. So I did. And I finally got this situation in Nashville with a publishing deal and an indie record deal down there. It was an indie rock label. And so quite a few years after I got in to see John Hammond, I finally got my first album out in national release. It got great reviews, but I got back from the first initial promotional tour and found out my record label had gone out of business. So that was the end of that. And I took a good hard look at where things were going in the music business. And this was back in the late 90s. And streaming wasn't even a factor then, which has severely impacted people's ability to make, music in the money in the music, make a living as songwriters and things. But things were already really changing, where people were making much less money, and I just didn't know if I saw the way the music business was going, and I also had spent so many years writing 3-minute songs, and I wanted to tell bigger stories. I'd already done acting. I'd already done a certain amount of acting. So I thought maybe if I move back to New York and get back into theater, I can sort of figure out how to start writing musicals, because I didn't want to do something where I abandoned songwriting. I was too good at it, and I loved it too much. But I wanted to tell bigger stories, and musicals allowed me a way to, you can write this song. It's not just a 3-minute song. You can write all different kinds of songs that are like part of a scene, or, where the written or the spoken word informs the song. It's just, it's been a long, oh, there's someone in the hallway.
Talking elevators, right?
Yeah. It's been a long road.
Dalai Lama, he's going to be your next guest on the show.
Wonderful. But I moved back to New York in 2001, and that's, I've got 2 shows now that are, moving. One is being as a supposed production that will happen post-pandemic with Flux Theater, and then I have this big show that I've been working on for really. I started doing research in 2010. It's called The Battles, and it's the sort of revolves around a central plot point of, oh my goodness, you're fast. There was this true head-to-head painting competition that took place between Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. They were bitter rivals, and so a guy named Noah Brody, who is this superb actor director. He is one of the co-artistic directors of the wonderful Fiasco Theater Company. That's the resident company at the Roundabout. They had that great production of Into the Woods that won all sorts of awards, and their recent revival of Merrily We Roll. Sondheim loves these guys, women, excuse me, guys, but male and female actors. And and their Cymbeline was brilliant. That's what really broke them as far as a theater company, to a wider audience. But he's directing the show. And in just a couple of weeks, we're actually going to do a little workshop of the show with Fiasco, just so that Noah has the chance to work with actors on the book scenes for like a week, because that'll be his first chance to actually work with actors on it. But yeah, it's been a long road. Most musicals take first musicals can take longer, but most musicals take about 8 years from inception to their first workshop performance.
Right.
As far as front money goes, I mean, it's the money the government allows you to raise prior to having an official investor offering. Most musicals projects have to raise, the average is around $350,000 before they even ask investors to put up money. It's crazy. So if I had ever known how difficult and expensive this was all going to be, and I went from like the most difficult thing in the world, which is to having a career as a recording artist, to something even more difficult in a different universe, more difficult. What gets into my head?
You like a challenge.
Jeez. I'm, what's really great, and I'm going to say this, and I mean this in a really good way, but I am probably the biggest failure you've ever had on this show. But that's good, because, when I finally hit that home run, it's just going to be incredible. It's like,
Now, some people
Babe Ruth
asked.
hits on.
Now, some people asked about the name too, Ned Hartford and also Ned Massey. There was a transition with some may be saying, but that he looks like Ned Massey. Oh, I've heard him play. He's Ned Massey. Ned Hartford. Tell us a little bit about sort of that whole transition and the renewal project as well.
Well, probably the biggest work of my life has been, dealing, with a really, people have it much harder than I had in my life. And I do not mean to compare myself to anyone, but I had some things happen when I was young that were really hard and affect your self-worth, and implant that voice in your head that you're not a good person and that you deserve bad things. And
A lot of self-doubt and
yeah. And
self-loathing.
so a large portion of my life has been getting past those things. And interestingly enough, on the idea of forgiveness, there's the from Wit, John Patrick Shanley's Doubt. I'm sorry, Doubt. John Patrick Shanley's Doubt, where the sister says to the priest, the three, I'm not Christian, but she says the three tenets of Christian redemption are: 1, confess your sins; 2, apologize; 3, never sin again. Commit that sin again. Okay, well, I'm not a big believer that something is, like I said, I don't go down, that's not my road, but those are sort of the 3 tenets of redemption. Now, how do you forgive somebody who doesn't want redemption? What happens when the hate in your heart starts eating away at you physically, or you start becoming the thing you hate? What's the process you go through then? How do you've got to find a way to forgive that person, but they don't want forgiveness, right? And so what? That's the tough road. I remember when they had the reconciliation commissions in South Africa, and people who tortured and murdered people in the prisons had to get up in front of people who'd lost their husbands and things like that and say, this is what I did. And they'd had to detail everything they did, and they'd have to say they were sorry. Now, some people were doing that maybe because they didn't want to go to prison. I don't know. But it makes a huge difference. How do you get past it if you don't get that?
That's right.
And people who have trauma when they're young, I mean, women tend to have women who are survivors of childhood assault and abuse. They have incredibly high rates of autoimmune disease when they hit their 50s, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis or all sorts of weird, strange diseases. For men, it often comes about as with heart disease. We internalize these things, and so it can destroy you on the inside, and it can also destroy you as a person to hold on to that anger. So that's been a huge part of my life, is getting past and getting through those things. And a lot of that's been through my music and my art.
It's like a therapy. You work through it. Cathartic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that song Mess, so that's, I started work on some songs that were just about forgiveness and redemption, a group of songs. And I'm a decent recording engineer, and I've got a nice setup. So I have too much respect for the amazing audio engineers that I've had the privilege to work with over the years. But I'm okay. I'm okay at what I do. And so I got some, songs I've been posting to Bandcamp. you know, if you go on Bandcamp, you can hear them. My website, www.nedhartford.com. I am literally the worst person at self-promotion, and it's something I need to become better at, I realize. But and so I started writing these songs. I've had to kind of set it aside because of all the stuff with Fiasco, with the upcoming workshop. That's been very time consuming. But it's been a hard year for people. And if I have this group of songs that I feel are healing in any way, and we have a country that's got such ridiculous riffs in it. When I lived in Nashville, I lived in a neighborhood where, you know, everybody around me were, you know, Republicans, you know, old school Southerners, just good old boys. And we got along great. And I don't know if we would these days, you
So
know,
much has
and
changed. I
I
know.
hate that. I hate not being able to see a human being when I look at their eyes. I want to. And so anyway, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with these songs. Let me play another one.
That would be great. Yes,
Okay.
that would be so people get more of a sense of what you do. So, also, as much singer and musician and screenwriter and involved in, you know, theater, an actor as well. We'll talk a little bit about some of that as we return. Good evening to Julia Crane, who is watching us as well. Thank you very much. Amazing show. June, thank you very much. Willie, watching in Holland, has tulips for us. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Renee Nolan, not that I'm biased. It's an amazing show. And Merlin in Canada, I love your honesty, Ned.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
I'm getting too old to do anything other than be honest. It's just a waste of time. That's one of the great things about getting older is that you just
it rolls off your shoulders more, it rolls off your back, right? It rolls off, and like when you see somebody who's all panicking about nonsense, you're like, this too shall pass.
You can ask my wife. I still have great capacity for panic. I am one of the most truly flawed individuals you will ever meet, but she is just an amazing human being who keeps me centered, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Hopefully I do the same thing for her, but she's amazing. So I'm in this song. It's called Baby Brother Billy. And I knew somebody once. It was who their father was an alcoholic and struggled off and on, and he'd been sober, but he relapsed, and it was in the winter, right in the middle of this huge snowstorm. But it was like life or death. He said, "I've got to go into a rehab center tonight, you know, or it could be the end of me." And so this woman hopped in her car, you know, and drove a long way through a horrific snowstorm to get her dad and take him to a rehab clinic. And I always thought what she did was amazing, but I thought what he did was even more amazing in some ways, because it's what a tremendous amount of courage. The easiest thing to do would just be to feel sorry for yourself and just die. But he made the decision that he wanted to live. And
that's beautiful, right?
yeah. So anyway, I wrote this song, and I didn't make it father-daughter. I mean, one of the, you know, you steal from people's lives as a songwriter, but then you kind of, you know, craft it a little. So that's what this is called, Baby Brother Billy.
Baby Brother Billy with Ned Hartford. Enjoy.
You didn't ask what was wrong. I guess you already knew. Your wife must have been pretty ticked off me calling it 1:45. But you came and you cleaned up some of the mess while I packed my clothes. And as I made the phone call, you put some coffee on the stove. And I guess we're both a little bleary-eyed. need a little something for the ride. Baby brother Billy, and all goes by so fast. Everything has changed, nothing seems to last. Baby brother Billy, it all gets so unreal. Now you're all grown up and I'm too drunk to take the wheel. Cold wind blowing, heavy snow coming down. I sure picked one hell of a night to decide to drive. Drive along in silence, not much left to say. I remember back and there was a time things weren't always this way. Yeah, I remember when I grabbed you, falling through the ice. I pulled you out to safety, I held you oh so tight. My baby brother Billy, it all goes by so fast. Everything has changed, nothing seems to last. Baby brother Billy, oh, it all gets so confused. Now you're all grown, mostly now I end up being saved by you. Pull into the parking lot, you help me to the door. You give me a hug and you wish me luck like the other times before. You walk back through the snow, get in your car and smile and wave. I call out, Billy, drive careful, as you slowly pull away. Billy, please don't give up on me yet. Billy boy, you're all that I have left. My baby brother Billy, all goes by so fast. Everything has changed, nothing seems to last. Baby brother Billy, have patience there, my friend. Maybe one day I'll be your big brother once again. Oh, look, a truck.
I like if somebody pressed the button and you just reverted back to, "Hi everybody, I'm back." That really was you. Obviously, that song means a great deal to you, and you sang that so soulfully and heart centrically. That song, when people hear that song, what's some of the feedback that you get from people? I'm sure they can relate to it, and they know somebody in their life that matches the song, if not themselves, and they're very inspired by it. But what happens when you hear the comments and response to a song like that?
Well, I'm just, I mean, you go through all the obstacles and all the down of being in the arts, and there's plenty of ups and downs. But when you write a song and you can perform it also, in a way that makes people feel like, and they walk out of a concert feeling more alive than they walked in. That's a gift, man. And there's, you know, you were talking about acting. I've acted on film and TV some, and over the past, I've had to really cut back on my acting because of the demands of writing these musicals. But there's just something amazing about theater, and there's something amazing about live music performance, where between the spoken word or the sung song and the performer and the audience, they talk about with acting, you trying to create reality. It's not reality, it's a hyper reality. It's this new situation where this new reality is combined by everyone else's experience who comes to be a part of that. It's communal and it's holy. It's church. And I live for that. My greatest fear in life is coming up with art that's mediocre, that doesn't move people, that just sort of, you gotta, I mean, you can't, everything you write isn't going to be Baby Brother Billy, and you don't want it to be. I mean, God, you want to be able to play a set that takes people the whole gamut of emotions, but everything has to move people, or what's the point? So that's what I strive for. And so it's a thrill when I get to play a song like Baby Brother Billy and people come up afterwards saying, just how it moved them. So, or with the theater stuff, with the shows I've written, things like that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Let's talk a little bit more about that too. There's another
Oh,
one
I'm sorry,
here.
the Ned Hartford thing.
Yes, the
I veer off.
Betsy Hartford.
You
Yes,
got to keep me. You got to keep me on the straight and narrow, Jim.
absolutely. The train is on the track and I'm conducting.
I got to this point in my life where sort of this new part of my life is starting, and I could have gone out and gotten a tattoo, but I didn't want to get a tattoo. And so I just thought, well, maybe I'll just take my wife's last name and just be like, the people who saw me play on tour and stuff like that, that was like back in the late 90s or, into the early 2000s. And, you know, I'm still in touch with a lot of them. That's how few are who are
Yeah.
left who remember me. So it's not like I'm like gonna lose any fan base by starting a new. My branding is an issue now. So no. So it just seemed like a great thing to do. And I love my wife so much, and we're both feminists. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take her name. Yeah.
Hartford.
That's a great name. Great name.
Could have been Hohokus.
Which is also in its own way such a
I
special,
knew you'd say that.
great name.
So that transition and the renewal project, tell
Right.
us about that.
Well,
That's
once again,
something very special.
yeah, and I want to get back to recording more songs. It's just a gift, and for me to do these songs, like the two songs I've put up so far that are part of that, one, I'm doing everything, on
Yeah.
it, playing all the instruments and because it's in a pandemic, and doing all the audio engineering. And just those two songs took me a ridiculous amount of time to do. And I'm just like, but it's just a gift. I just want to give it to people, and that's it. I've got this, I'm old, so I've got a skill set I've put together. I've spent a certain amount of years writing songs. I'm a really good songwriter now. I can say that. I've earned it. I've gotten there. I'm becoming a much better book writer for musicals.
They need you to put the volume up a little bit. They're
Oh,
saying
okay. No,
the
that's me. I
volume's too
just
low, too low.
Nah, I'm just getting
Just turn up that volume knob.
well, the thing, yeah, yeah, like I guess I could.
No, I mean the audience.
Oh no, yeah. So sorry about the volume. Sorry about that. The thing is, once I start singing, you're gonna
Right.
want me not to be
To be,
where I
right.
just have to remember to turn towards the mic a little. So keep me on the straight and narrow.
Austin Field says another great show. Thank you very much, Austin. We appreciate that. And
Oh,
Christine
thank
says, I
you.
agree with Jim. Very soulful, Ned. You can feel each word. Great lyric. Merlin says, wow, that was terrific.
Great.
Queen Army in Northern Ireland. Chris says the Lovety Express. Absolutely. I agree with that. Kathy Short in Cleveland says beautiful. Anne says awesome, pulls at the heartstrings. Amy, who's a poet. Wow, beautiful lyrics. Renee in Iowa, very nice.
Thank you all very
June,
much.
great. Wow, that song gave me all the feels. That's Maureen. Claps from Chris in Northern Ireland. Beautiful words and songs. Thanks from Mona in Louisiana. Mary Bishop, fantastic, Ned. Very emotional song. Juanita in South Africa, beautiful. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Could I? There was this song I was talking about earlier, this a cappella song about Northern Ireland. Since you have folks who were in the audience from Northern Ireland, I was wondering if at some point in the show I could do the song, and I'd be really interested in their feedback. You know,
Yes.
because I wrote it a long time ago. I'd never been to Ireland at that point, but I did have the opportunity to go to Belfast and spend some time with people who were involved in the peace process there, people in the Shankill and the Falls, and oh gosh, it's been so long since I did that. But what's his name? Reverend Ralph Wright was one of the Protestant ministers, and I anyway, but both Catholic and Protestant. I was able to, through some connections I had, meet with these people and spend time with them. And you know, I asked them about this song I had because I was a little concerned that since I was on the outside of it, that the song didn't accurately represent it. They felt it did, and that I should keep doing it. And you know, it's just it. Mr. Hammond wanted me to do the song, and he actually wanted to get the Chieftains to do the backup on it, but their manager put the kibosh on that because a lot of this was back in the early 80s, and a lot of their concerts were people who were sending money over to the conflict. And you know, so he said, you can't do this song. But I did hear from, you know, talking to the people who were involved in the peace process, they said over and over, just go back to the United States and tell people to quit sending money and guns over here. We'll work out our problems ourselves. We don't need that stuff. And so I felt okay about doing the song, but still, when I meet people from Northern Ireland, I'm always curious as to what they think, and very open to anything they might say about the song. Once again, I want to. Can I? Maybe I
You want to
should.
share that song
Yeah, let me
now?
just do
Yeah,
it.
that's a great intro. Absolutely.
Do it.
What is the name of it?
It's called Patrick O'Doherty, and don't have to pick up the guitar for it, but anyway, here it goes.
All right.
Patrick O'Doherty grew up in a Boston family, third generation from the land of Lucky Green. When he was a lad, he got sat down by his dad, tell him all the stories of the land he'd never seen, of the magic of the Emerald Isle, especially in a Colleen smile, but best of all, St. Patrick, who could drive the snakes away. As the boy grew older, his father's tales grew colder, told him of the dark side of the history of the land, of slavery and hunger, how to try to drag 'em under, but Cromwell couldn't break 'em, the British all be damned, and how the battle won't be done till all of Ireland is one, and just like St. Patrick, they can drive the snakes away. Yes, keen for your mother country, keen for your mother country, that it one day may be whole. Patrick O'Doherty was drafted in 1970, sent to fight the communists in the land of Vietnam. Mechanics he could understand, was a pretty brave kid with a steady hand, so they trained him in the secrets of how to make and disarm bombs. But what he saw there broke his heart, and when it came time to depart, he returned to America, a dazed and shattered man. Patrick's alone in a bar, out of work, drinking hard when two men come and sit down on either side of him. In an Irish brogue, they say they represent the IRA and know of him as someone who can be trusted as a friend, and how they'd like to commission his talent in demolition, and just like St. Patrick, he could drive the snakes away. Yes, keen for your mother country. Keen for your mother country, I cannot turn my back away. Hey, hey. Patrick O'Doherty settled in Belfast City with a brand new name, yeah, and a burning desire. He was high paid and protected, revered and respected. He was the man who could give the people fire, and for the British troops he did not care, but he made his fellow rebels swear his handiwork would not be used on innocent lives. And then one day he heard the news, a car bomb near a Protestant school. At least a dozen passers-by wounded or dead. He ran and found the rebel commander, grabbed him and demanded an explanation, but this reply was all he got instead. Are you really so naive that you could honestly believe that in Belfast there's such a thing as innocent lives? And Patrick said, keen for your mother country. Keen for your mother country and the blood that stains these hands. Patrick O'Doherty sits drinking his whiskey, remembering all the things his father had said. Patrick O'Doherty pours another whiskey, trying hard to drive away the demons in his head, because his ears resound with children's cries, and their mangled bodies fill his eyes, and just like St. Patrick, he must drive these things away. Patrick O'Doherty finishes his whiskey and picks up a 45 and puts it to his head. Keen for your mother country. Keen for your mother country. How much more blood will be shed? How much more blood will be shed? How much more blood will be? That's that. Little dark for this show, sorry.
No, it's beautiful. It's very, very moving, very touching, and very filled with realism and authenticity. And what was some of the additional inspiration that came to you for penning that material,
I
Ned?
actually met someone who was a Vietnam vet from Boston, who was of Irish descent.
Oh, here you go. Northern Ireland, Chris in the Belfast area, Comber. Wow, very powerful song.
Thank you. Thank. That means a huge amount to me. Thank you, Chris. I met this guy who had been a demolition expert. He had made bombs in Vietnam, and he had been so screwed up when he came back over, and he was drinking a lot, and he was in a bar in Boston when he got approached by the IRA to move to Belfast to make bombs for the IRA. And he said he was so screwed up from what happened to him in Vietnam that he came this close to doing it. So that was, I tried doing research, but, research back then tended, hearing that sometimes they'd be very anti-IRA or not very even-handed about, I don't know. Yeah, it was sometimes just hard to get a clear story either one way or
Actual
the
facts,
other. Yes.
right, right.
Yeah.
Kathy in Cleveland says, a great storytelling song. Love it. Juanita, who's in South Africa, and they have certainly dealt with a lot of different things over the years in South Africa. She goes, wow. And Linda in Florida says, very powerful song. Absolutely.
We're going to play happier ones from here on out.
Yeah. What would you like to play next? Yeah, let's share something next that you have this versatility and this ability to be able to do so many different kinds of material, huh?
That's been a big help with musicals.
Yes.
In fact, what I'll do, there is a song I have just, so this show, The Battles, that I told you about, one of the problems with writing that show is that since it's based in history, history is all about the people who wrote history, which back at that time was men.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I hate the fact of that exists still, very, very much so, about underrepresentation in theater, and especially on Broadway, with people of color and women, and I don't want to write a piece that feeds into that. Now, I've written this show in such a way that you know, I just don't think it matters with this show as far as who plays what. My idea, the greatest Leonardo in the world would be Coleman Domingo, and his assistant, who I posit was the model for the David. You know, we did a workshop of this. We had Delon Burnside, who is from the Ryan Murphy TV series Pose, playing Salah E. Now, you know, he's black, okay? So he is not the same person who might, but beauty is beauty. Dylan Burnside is one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met. So why not have him be the model for the David? And Joel Perez played Michelangelo in the workshop. Superb Broadway actor. And so that's no problem. But representation of women in the show is difficult, since there's a sexual dynamic between the three leads. Both Leonardo and Michelangelo were gay and celibate. Leonardo, because he was so emotionally scarred he was imprisoned for having sex with a male prostitute in his 20s, and could have spent the rest of his life in prison if the Medicis hadn't gotten him out. But it scarred, I mean, he probably was raped a lot while he was in prison. So he said, I'm gay, I'm out, but I'll never have sex again. So you can't put me in prison. That's the way he lived his life. Michelangelo was celibate because he was a really self-loathing, devout Catholic. And so with the sexual dynamics in the show, it's very important, I think, that those three be men, at least for an initial production. But we did a workshop where other characters, where there was no sexual dynamic, were played by women. Now, in working on the show with Noah, I've come up with a new character who's in the show who is female. So at least there's now one character in the show who actually is female. And I wrote this, I really wanted her, she's got 2 songs in the show, and I wanted her to have a great song. And so it's in the second act, and she's singing to somebody who she's attracted to, who is unconscious, has been beaten up. She's nursing him back to health. And while he's unconscious and feverish or whatever, he talks about wanting to live on this farm that he wants to live on and have someday. And so this is a song that she sings to him while he's asleep. Now, this is going to be sung by a soprano. I think you may be able to gather that I am not a soprano. So at the end of this song, when it starts, at the end of the song, I'm going to go down in range. But just imagine all these amazing G5s and A6, that's high C, just these beautiful floaty soprano notes. Imagine it. Just imagine. I'm going to have to read the lyrics because I just wrote this song last week. You are hearing a brand new song. And
so this is a
just
world premiere exclusive, as usual.
It actually is.
Another world premiere exclusive on the Jim Masters Show Live. That happens all the time.
Well, this is good. Ouch! Don't do that, Ned. That's a nice guitar. Okay. Yeah, it's called Stay. And so she's singing to somebody she's attracted to who's unconscious. And it's kind of a standalone song too. So it's nice to play this one. It doesn't need a lot of explanation otherwise.
All right. Here's Ned Hartford.
Time was, I was believing the time was Time for me leaving, been hurt, had to heal, so I made up my mind to kick the dirt from my heels, leaving this town behind. But then the time goes by while you're planning, the time goes, finds you still standing, declaring how any day now is the day you will fly. Then you're swearing you can't say how the days all flew by. You stay and stay and stay and stay, while all those plans, they simply slip away. But then the time comes, something will shake you, the time comes. Finally you wake, you can open your eyes and see out beyond to hope. Surprise, it's a farm with a pond. That's a place I could stay and stay and stay and stay and never ever move away. But hey, get this straight, I've been fine on my own, A-OK, doing great. I don't mind being alone, so I don't need a savior, someone braver or smarter. I just need good behavior from a kind, loving partner who'll stay. Let the world spin on its crazy way. Imagine those real high notes at the end.
Still, the way you did it is really pleasing to the ear as well.
I was messing it
lower,
up a little.
No, really, really good. I mean, it sounds terrific that way too. It really does. There's a sensitivity, there's a depth to it, there's a warmth to it in that lower tonality. And I thought it was great that way too.
Oh, good.
It draws you in. Your style of singing draws, I think, the listener into the story. These songs don't even need a full orchestra surrounding them. They're so intimate and warm, and there's a sensitivity to them as well, and a relatability, I think, as well, that people connect with. Even if the story isn't exactly about their lives, there are some things they can connect with, and the relatability. And I think that's what makes things, I think that's what gets people to respond to anything we do in life, especially when it's something of a creative bent, is when people have the ability to find some sort of a relatability to it, a connection, and not only hear it, but feel it. And your material obviously is material that allows us to not only listen and hear, but feel it as well. And that's really, really important. Like Juanita says, ooh wee, fantastic song, love it. Amy says, intimate with your voice, right?
Oh,
exactly.
thank you.
There's an intimacy to it. Clapping from Linda in Florida and Merlin in Canada. All your songs have such great meanings. Thank you.
Good night, Chris. Chris says he's heading out.
Yeah, it's about 1:30 in the morning there in
Thank you for staying
Ireland.
up so late.
Yeah, joining us so late. And Juanita, where Juanita is in South Africa, it's already tomorrow, way into tomorrow. Chris in Northern Ireland, thank you very much. Heading offline. Great meeting you, Ned. Back to Liberty Hall soon. Good night, Law, as well, because it's like 1:30 a.m. where you are in Northern Ireland. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate that, Chris. Well said, Jim. Thank you very much. As far as my interpretation of your style, I think that you should have a version recorded of you doing it like that too. There's something about the way you did it
Oh,
that
thanks.
is really, obviously, grabbing everybody. Maureen says, "What an honor to be the first to hear that magnificent song."
Oh, that's so
Thank
sweet.
you, Ned.
I'm
Um,
really proud of the songs that are. I've written 3 shows. One is an autobiographical piece. I did it as a one-person
is
show,
it this one?
right?
Four
It was 4
messages.
messages. I did that originally as a one-person show at the Fringe here in New York when that was still there. And then a director became interested, but he wanted to expand it into a full musical. And we did it at something that also used to be around and is no longer, called the New York Music Theater Fest. And we did the show there, and it won an award for music, but I was not happy with the book. And I felt that trying to expand that show into a full musical was not right. So I've been paring that back, and I think it's really good. I did it just a little sort of like workshop production of it on Theater Row, and got nominated for a bunch of indie theater awards and stuff. Which, I mean,
Terrific.
I did
Yeah.
it for like $10,000 total budget or something ridiculous. But
Which is amazing.
no, yeah, I mean, then I have a show I've written with my wife, who's a fabulous theater director and actress. She's part of she's a creative partner in this award-winning theater company here in New York called Flux Theater Ensemble. Um, and we wrote a song called Metra, which
Metro.
is I wrote a play called Metra that has songs in it, and it's a play about climate change. And the song really, I'm so happy to write the songs really ended up really good for that.
Is
And
there a
we're,
song from that you could share?
you know, I have to be honest with you. I've been working so hard on the battles that I didn't even start practicing to play these songs tonight until yesterday.
You did a
And I
nice job.
well, I mean,
Vaccine shot and all.
yeah, well, I just yeah, I had to get the studio set up and everything to make this work, but I've just every day for like 10, 12, 15 hours a day, I've been working to get stuff ready for this workshop. And so I didn't work up anything. In fact, the song "Stay" was really just because I have just written it, so I wouldn't screw up the
So
music
it's
too
still
badly.
fresh, still happening, right?
So,
Yeah.
but I don't have anything from that show. But then the battles, um, I'm just so proud of the music, and the book is. I'm the harshest critic on myself of anybody, and the book with Noah's incredible dramaturgy is just becoming stellar. I I just think that I could have a really great show on my hands. It doesn't mean it's going to get
Yeah.
made. Doesn't mean it might. I could be wrong, but I just
Never
it's
give up. Keep going.
yeah.
If it's in your heart and it's in your soul and you feel it, there's usually always a way somehow, always a way. Linda says, do you have a song with your wife that you can sing?
She's not a singer. She's an actor, director,
Right.
and writer. She's tremendous at those. She just directed a beautiful short film during the pandemic. Getting all the actors got Filmic Pro, this great app on their phones that allows you to use your phone basically as a movie camera. You can do all sorts of
It's
amazing things with it.
amazing now
So
today, isn't it?
yeah. So they filmed a movie. She edited it. I did the music and sound, and it's tremendous. And they're going to start submitting it to festivals.
That is
But no, she
cool.
doesn't sing.
Want to show you what they're saying. They're agreeing with me as far as you with that song. Juanita says, I agree, Jim. Ned does the song beautifully, touches the soul. And Christine in North Carolina, all very touching songs. You should be proud, Ned. And Amy agrees. She says, your voice lends itself to the lyric. It allows the lyric to shine through and move people.
Oh, very nice.
So, yeah, I think you
This is
should be
such a great ego stroke for me to be here. I've been
here in Lovety Hall, right?
I've been sitting in this little room for a year.
If you're ever
For
down in the
longer.
dumps,
But
join us in Lovety Hall
I
live or
know.
on demand and binge watch. You'll feel good. How have you been getting through? Is it the music? Is it writing and
I
preparing
have
and
just been
playing?
so busy. That's sort of been a salvation in that I've been working so hard. Very fortunately, my wife makes good money, and she did not lose her job. Like my work is like running catering events. I do that because in that field, if I walk away for 6 months to a year, or a few months to do a play, or go out of town to do a play, or uh, if a musical, started getting put up or something, or a workshop, I can take off however I want, along I want, and I can come back and have that same job. I basically, captain events at, weddings and stuff like that. So um, I didn't have that, and so during all this stressful time, I had all this work I had to do on these different shows, and then I also wanted to record these songs for the renewal project, and that took I had to spend a few months really trying to up my audio engineering game because I wanted it to be as good as possible. And I'm in a very limited environment here. One of the real tricks to audio engineering is being in a really good listening environment that allows you to accurately hear when you're mixing what you're doing. And I don't
Hmm.
have that environment. So I've had to work very hard to try and, um, just do the best I can. And, if you go to Bandcamp and you like the songs, let me know. Send me an email, nedhartford@gmail.com. I'm easy to reach, but
So, what do you see yourself as? Are you the singer, musician, recording artist, actor, screenwriter, or are you super focused on the the shows and the plays, along with being a musician and singer, a performer as well? What would you, with the transitions, the reinventions, things of that nature, what, with all the different things you have, had your feet sort of involved in, what comes first for you when you describe yourself in any of that?
I would say I guess primarily a songwriter, because that's been with me for so long. One of the things for me that's just difficult is I can do multiple things. It's just hard for me to do them at the same time. When I'm acting in a role, uh, it becomes incredibly consuming, and I don't write when I'm doing that.
Because
And
you take on the
yeah,
real depth
it's
of the
just it
character
just
and
takes so much emotional effort to do a good job and then keep doing it once the show gets put up. You I've never done a show that went longer than, like, 3 months, so maybe once you get into a really long run of something, you start able but I've never reached that point. It's sorta like, and I keep my toe in it, like, last winter, before the pandemic, I did a production of Titus Andronicus. I played
Mhm.
Titus, and, for the time that I was doing it, there was I just had you have to set everything else aside.
Yeah, that's what
So
happens, right?
and as far as being like a touring recording artist, well, you know, if you're doing the folk world, you're booking your tours a year in advance, and you just and with all the work you have to do in advance of getting press out to local markets and things like that, if you're doing it all yourself, it's really time consuming and a full-time job. So I just had to make some choices. I love performing. So I'd love to be touring sometimes. I'd love to keep taking acting jobs. Um, and hopefully I'll be able to they all like with Leonardo da Vinci, all the things fed into him. Like he did all these different things because they said he was some people said he was a dilettante, and no, it was like all these things fed into each other, but he'd have to walk away and do that mathematics for a while or do this kind of thing, but it all feeds back in. Not saying that I'm like Leonardo da Vinci, but I do this small skill set. I've got a small skill set that I do pretty well.
What are some of the things that continue to bring you great joy and blessing and inspire you to do this creative work in the very impactful and meaningful way that you do, Mr. Da Vinci.
That's the new one after Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Providence comes next after Hartford.
Yes.
Then you hit Boston. Then you hit Boston.
I'm gonna since Renee, grew up on Martha's Vineyard, I won't go up to Boston. I'll veer down to the Vineyard.
To the Vineyard. From
Yes,
Hartford to the Vineyard. Hartford's in Vineyard. The Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard.
We're very lucky that Emily's mom spends her summers on the Vineyard, so we get to go
It's
visit
a
her. We're going
great
there in June.
place. Very
so it's gonna be
nice.
wonderful. Yeah. What was the question? I got
Right now,
lost.
such a great. We took a detour to Martha's Vineyard by way of Newport.
Yeah.
And
New
Nantucket.
London.
We're
New
talking
London.
for those who are in other parts of the world, like, what are you talking about? These are islands off the coast of
I-95.
southern New England, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. And Martha's Vineyard is a separate, beautiful island off the southern New England coast. And of course, Nantucket is, as Newport, of course, is part of Rhode Island. Hartford is the capital of Connecticut. And with all of that, he's still Ned.
Yes, I am.
Still Ned. Some of the things that continue to bring you great joy and blessing and inspiration in your life to be able to create this Da Vinci-like art for all of us through song and melody.
The thing that keeps me wanting to create is literally just meeting and getting to know people who, the amazing things people do to become better human beings on their road to becoming better, more loving, compassionate people. That's what inspires me. So that's
Elizabeth Hartford says, but your favorite sister-in-law is in Boston, Ned.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Who just straight run from Hartford.
Tremendous actress, Liz Hartford.
Liz Hartford.
Shakespearean actress.
That's fantastic. Lots and lots of great talent in the family. So these are the things that inspire you and give you great joy. And what are some things, additional things that you're working on right now, Ned, that we can look forward to?
The main thing are the shows. That's that. And then I want to get back to recording another song for the Renewal Project. And those are the main things. Get through the workshop, make the changes I want to make after the workshop to the battles.
And I think you started telling us a little bit about the vision and mission and purpose of the Renewal Project, what it actually is.
It's just, it's a name for, what do you call an album anymore? I don't even know what you call an album. So I'm calling it a project, and the title of it's Renewal. So
the renewal is you.
Yeah, and it's just sort of talking to where we are.
Yeah, right.
I'm a believer that it doesn't always work out this way, but because it's a huge bureaucracy, but government does have the capacity for creating a fair and equitable society. And I think we're hopefully on the road to seeing some of that. And I think that'll be a real big plus for people's lives in this country. And
seem to be headed in a
more positive
different direction,
and,
direction. Yeah.
And people, maybe healing some of the divides. I know, they seem very hard to get past, but I'm
hopeful.
I'm hopeful. So,
yeah. So you've been enjoying the ride.
I have to tell you, I've had some tremendous lows and tremendous joy. And, there are only a couple things that, I feel like, wow, if I had the chance to go back, I wish I'd handled those better. But really, for the most part, I take all my failures and all my success, and I lay them equally at the feet of whatever divine creator is out there. It's me. So, for better or for worse, it's me, and I'm trying my best to love it all.
Well, you're certainly doing that, my friend. This was absolutely amazing. You know, we chatted for almost 2 hours already. It doesn't feel like it.
You are stellar. You are stellar. I literally, before this show started, had trouble putting noun, verb, and object together. Yet you coaxed out of me complete sentences. You are masterful.
I appreciate that, Mr. Da Vinci. Hearing that from Mr. Da Vinci, I mean, is quite something.
Should I do one song to sing us out?
That would be great. I would love that. And I know the lovely viewers around the world would love it as well. Absolutely. What one? Tell us a little bit about this one.
This song is kind of just speaks to everything we were talking about.
Yeah. So it's perfect. Apropos.
It's called Broken We Heal. Okay.
Perfect.
Is everything on? Elevator. I just heard the elevator. That's good. I got an idea. Right. Here we go. Broken we heal, broken we rise, hoping to feel the light in our lives. Broken we heal, broken we rise. Shattered we lose all the meaningless words, standing anew in the place where we were. Yeah, broken we heal, broken we rise. Can I kiss the hand that scarred me, make a list of all who harmed me, and hold it to my heart? Oh, break me apart. I want to break down these doors, I want to tear down these walls. Let the song be the roar they make as they fall. Broken we heal, broken we rise. Can I kiss the hand that scarred me, make a list of all who harmed me, and hold it to my heart? Well, if that's what it takes, may every day break me apart. Yeah. Well, if that's what it takes, may every day break me apart. 2, 3, 4. Broken we heal, broken we rise. Can I kiss the hand that scarred me, make a list of all who harmed me, and hold it to my heart? Well, if that's what it takes, may every day break me apart. Yeah. Well, if that's what it takes, may every day break me apart.
Wow. That vaccine's kicking in.
Yeah, I'm feverish.
I was going to say, yeah, the songs are too. Right? You got everybody, you're giving them chills in a good way.
Good.
You are incredible songwriter. Absolutely.
Nice.
Thank you, Amy. June says you guys are a masterful match. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being a matchmaker.
Great comments too. And what a great song. I mean, again, you put so much heart and soul into it. And when you perform, as much you are the songwriter, you are a brilliant performer as well. You really interpret the words and share with us the melody in a way that has a long-lasting effect. Like Maureen says, dang, that was sensational.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy that my voice is holding up over
The
the years.
voice, the arm,
Yeah.
everything. Fantastic show once more from Juanita. Thanks, Ned, for sharing your time stories and beautiful songs with us. I agree. That was really well done, my friend. And a blessing and a joy to have you on the show joining us tonight. Michelle Nee watching on our YouTube channel. Go, Ned. We love you. XOXO. Kona Bean, Hartford.
That is Emily's brother's partner,
Very nice,
Michelle Nee.
Michelle. Everybody watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell. We would love that, right? They should all subscribe to our channel, shouldn't they, my friend Ned?
Absolutely, I
Yeah,
have.
I know you have. Yes, I know you have, and we really appreciate that. Um, what would be one parting word of positivity that you would like to share, maybe with our audience, that maybe somebody's going through something tough right now, and maybe they're not out of the woods with their low points at the moment, having experienced the range of emotions yourself, as many of us have, certainly, of course, we're all human.
Okay,
And what would be something you would want to
Jim, I'm
share?
going to tell something here, and it's very brief. I'm not going to go into any great detail. Like I said, I'm not a religious person, but at the very lowest point in my life, when I didn't know how I was going to be able to just take a step outside, how I could even just get up off the floor, I had an experience of something, and something, for better lack of a better word, the divine. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just endorphins. I don't think it was, because it stayed with me ever since. But it is not just my belief. It's like down to my cellular level. I feel, not feel. My experience was that there is something, and that something loves us unconditionally. So I may have my opinions say about certain politicians, or I may have these things, but you know what? I want for me to keep that, what I felt, for me to keep that in my life, I have to find ways to give it. It's the hardest thing in the world. I fail at it every day. But when I'm able to give some semblance of what I felt in that moment,
Mhm.
I feel better. I feel like I'm going forward. And so if you're going through something, it may all I can say is there is something. I don't know why we have to go through suffering in this life. I don't know why we have to go through grief. I know nothing except this one thing. There's something, and it loves us unconditionally, no matter who we are, what we believe, what we've done, loves all of creation. That's it. It's all
I
I know.
agree.
That's really
It's
all
it.
I know. I know
And it's
so much
probably
less as I get older.
it's probably all we were supposed to know. Just enough to have the hope, to
I
have the
guess so.
solace, and to have the peace. And then we find out, like Amy says, you found the light in the darkness.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was
Amazing human
shattered.
Ned. Maureen just wants to hug you.
Oh, I want to hug all of you too. I love being here. This is
Garland
so
Thompson
wonderful.
Jr. in Monterey, California, my dear friend. Great job, Jim and Ned. Thank you, Garland. It's good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well there in Monterey. He's another wonderful artist himself, Garland. And Christine says, Ned, you're a true musician, a superb songwriter. You present each song in a way, allowing us to feel each word. This has been a fantastic conversation. Glad
Oh
we could
wow.
be lovety company for
Well,
you
you've
this
made me
evening
feel
as well.
great. You really have. So thank you.
Well, that is my pleasure. And again, Bandcamp, you were saying, is where they can go to hear the music
Yeah,
and more.
Bandcamp. It's got. I know it's got. I'm trying to think of what songs I've got posted there. The versions I did at home of Baby Brother Billy and Broken We Heal are there. I think the song Mess is there. A little Christmas song I did, a goofy Christmas song I wrote. And I forget what else, but it's like, if some things that you record, labels own, things like that. So I have to record new things, and I want them to sound good. I've
And
done different.
do they represent a lot of your mood at the moment and your feeling at the moment? The song will come out in song.
Yeah. Um, I'm writing less these days as to what I'm feeling, because the demands of the writing I have to do with the shows.
Yeah.
What I'm feeling always gets in there. Like when Leonardo sings a song like Aged Mighty Warrior, he's talking about this battle mural that he has to paint where he's putting this famous aged mercenary at the center of it, which he did. And he did it because he was old and people thought he was getting over the hill. And so he put this old guy at the center of it. When I write that song, yeah, that's part of me going, well, I'm still here. I'm still worth something, so it still seeps in. But as far as, when I had a publishing deal in Nashville or earlier, I wasn't working on it. It's like you've got to just keep going into your life and finding songs you can write, because you're supposed to be writing songs. For the battles alone over the past 10 years, 8 years, I've written like 60 something songs, of which, 30 might be in the show now. I've had to throw out half of them, and some of those songs are incredible.
Can they be repurposed for other things down the line?
I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea, but it's just the writing of these shows has been taking a huge amount. So I don't. Occasionally will write songs that are sort of just for me these days.
You ever have writer's block?
No.
That's
My
good.
problem is the other problem, which is obsessive.
It's pouring out. Yeah.
I just, like, when I'm writing, I can spend, or recording in the studio, I can spend 15 hours in a day and, only get up to go to the bathroom and just never realize the time is going by, and my back starts going out after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just, you get into a zone, and I'm so fortunate that I'm able to do that. I'm able to really, really work, but it's got a downside when you start missing appointments. I had Post-it notes and everything saying, "Don't miss Jim Masters. Don't miss Jim Masters." So anyway.
Somehow I knew that because my ears were ringing today for some reason. I think it was all those Post-it notes. That's a good thing. Sometimes we all have to do it, especially when, there's so much going on in our lives and our plates are full. Greg S. says, great show. Thank you, Jim and Ned. Our pleasure. Greg, if you can
thank all of you.
Thank everybody. My pleasure, my friend. Greg, love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and anybody else watching. Garland says, you both and everything else looks and sounds great. Thank you, Garland. Appreciate that very much. In beautiful Monterey, California. We appreciate that. Christine Clifton in North Carolina. Thanks for being so open with us this evening. Lovely hugs. We are sending to you virtually from us. You're a beautiful soul, Ned, Renee,
thank you, Christine. Thank you.
in Iowa. Thanks for a great show, Ned and Jim. You're very welcome.
Stay safe, Renee.
Yes. And June says, I feel so happy from tonight. I appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this really was fantastic. And it's now officially 2 hours, and it doesn't feel like it, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Every guest says that. Every guest says it just doesn't, you can do things in life and even go on shows where 10 minutes feels like 2 hours, but we both know, or at least it's kind of the feeling and the vibe here on the show that it's warm and welcoming, and we just let it flow. It's freestyling.
It flows down from you, flows down from the top. So, you've got these people tuning in because you make this environment. And I am just, like I said, there were times over this past year where I was huddled in a corner. And if the idea that I had to get on a screen and be as warm and generous and supportive as you are every night with all the people you speak to, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Yeah, you're amazing. So, and the fact that you've got these just wonderful, warm people drawn to what you're doing, that's a testament. That's a testament, Jim. Congratulations.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. That means a great deal. And I'll take that and continue to run with it here on the show and in my professional work as well. Amy says, great show, Jim and Ned. Could listen another 2 hours. That's a real testament as well. Thank you, Amy and Kathy in Cleveland. Great show tonight. Loved all the singing. Thank you, Ned, for sharing so much with us.
Oh, my
Sherry
pleasure.
Lee Leonard is here too. Good to see you, Sherry Lee. had to hop off for business, but love tonight's guest, the singing, wonderful, and we live this experience with post of tonight's show. Absolutely. You can watch this again on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. All, I think, 300 or so episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series are there for your enjoyment, 24/7, 365. Willie, who's still with us in Holland, where it's also 2 a.m. Jim and Ned, good night. You as well, Willie.
Good night, Willie. Thank you.
Maureen, in Arizona. What an amazing journey your life has taken you on. Thank you so much for your openness. May your path continue to take you to the top.
Well, it brought me here. So if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, it's all been okay. Thank you. No, this is great. This is wonderful.
Another 2 hours more. Yes, I believe. It's amazing, isn't it? And it goes by so fast. And we'll keep the porch light on for you, my friend. It was a joy to have you here on the show. And thanks for all of the time and your talent and wit and wisdom. And we toast you on the Jim Masters Show Live.
I'd be drinking also, I
have
guess.
The pinky out. And
I had a vaccine today, so I can't do it.
You already drank enough for everybody. That is it. And June says, you got to come back. And Sherry Lee says, this show is a gift. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Sherry Lee. Garland says, rock on, Jim. Love the show and the look. Thank you very much, Garland. I appreciate that, my friend. We'll get together again. Last time we were together, we had dinner in North Hollywood, and it was really, really cool. We had a great time. We actually stopped by CBS Television City, which was kind of cool. And Garland says, thanks to Ned. Absolutely. And 3 a.m. in the Netherlands, and she's still up. 3 a.m. Late there. It's late in Ireland. It's late. It's tomorrow already in Australia. Tomorrow already in South Africa. But we love all of our Lovity viewers. And Ned, you're now a Lovity. There's Emmys, Tonys, there's Peabodys, there's Oscars. There's all of these things that you get in life for a job well done.
Oh my God, because I was on your show.
And now you're a Lovity.
Wait.
And now you're a Lovity. So how does it feel to be deemed a Lovity on the show tonight? Most people say their feet start tingling.
My feet are in the most cozy wool slippers. So right now they're really not tingling. They just feel good.
Feel good. That's the feeling of being a Lovity.
They're warm and they're breathing.
Michelle says, great job, Ned. I agree as well.
Oh,
and Garland says, that was a great night in Hollywood, Garland. Yes, and we must do it again. We must do it again, my friend. Must do it again. And let me know when you're back east, too. So many things we all want to go back to doing that we haven't been able to do with everything going on, but we shall. We shall. My friend, this was terrific. Again, I toast you, and the door will always be open. Spread the word about the show, and I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and that you enjoyed the time with me.
Far exceeded. You're tremendous at what you do, and thank you for doing it.
It is my pleasure. You go stretch those legs.
Yeah.
And again, it was really, really a pleasure. And Amy says warm and fuzzy, and I agree. Take care, my friend.
All right.
Ned Hartford.
I just press leave studio, right?
Yes, you press leave studio, and then whoosh,
okay, well,
you vanish off into the
Thanks
dust.
to everybody for listening. It's just a really great environment, and all of you made it that way. So thank you. Have a great night.
My pleasure. Take care, Ned. Bye-bye now. All right, everybody. That was terrific. Tweeting as always. Yes, you can certainly tweet to me on Twitter at Jim Masters TV. As a matter of fact, you can find me in all those suspect places. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope, all at Jim Masters TV. Follow, like, subscribe, share the Lovity, and thank you. We also thank our very special guest, Ned Hartford, who joined us today. Incredible songwriter, musician, singer, actor, screenwriter, and so much more. We thank him very much. We had a wonderful time with him tonight. He played live. If you missed any of it, he played several songs this evening. Tomorrow, another wonderful actor and singer, DJ Bucchiarelli, is with us live. We're going to have an amazing time with DJ. He's all excited. That is tomorrow. And then on Friday, we have a brilliant actor and producer. Michael Simon Hall is with us. He's extraordinary. He's going to be with us on Friday. Saturday, we have an extraordinary and inspiring author, Stephen G. Taibbi. He is in Hollywood. He's in Los Angeles. And he's going to be with us on Sunday for a very inspiring, he's got an incredible story, and he has a book that is out where he really opens up about some incredible health and other things. I don't want to give too much away, but he's going to be with us 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific this coming Sunday. So join us Monday. The one and only Judy Tenuta is with us. Yes, legendary comedian, live and direct from Hollywood. She will be with us coming up on Monday of this week. We are here Monday. And she, again, has been on so many different shows over the years, and it's going to be incredible. You know who else is joining us? Rodney Allen Rippey. Remember him years ago in the Jack in the Box commercials? 1 week from this Saturday on the 20th, from Celtic Woman and Celtic Heart and Celtic Lands and Rocktopia and so much more, our dear friend Renee Nesbitt. Yes, the incredible Irish fiddler and violinist. She's going to be back with us 1 week from this Saturday on the 20th, which is going to be amazing. And then we have another special guest coming from the Waltons TV series a week from this Saturday. And then the following Sunday, Rodney Allen Rippey, the wonderful actor and producer, live from Hollywood, California, is going to be with us as well. Yeah, it's going to be cool. And those are just some of the names. You can find us 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific with our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, The Jim Master Show Live. Don't forget to smile and share the smile. It's contagious, a beautiful thing to do. Don't forget to share the lovity. And don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine is with loving family and friends and things like tennis and cycling and writing. And, of course, the ocean, swimming, surfing, boogieing, boarding, floating in it, sailing in it, windsurfing, and just being near it here. We are near it here on the northeastern coast of the United States and love it. My work in television and radio and stage, on air, on camera, behind the scenes is always a blessing and continues to be. And I love all of the work that I do and the people I get to work with all these years on television, radio, multimedia, stage, and so much more. And of course, we say don't forget to relax. That's right. Don't forget to relax. Take care. Love one another. Love yourself. Breathe from the diaphragm. It's a very important thing. We were talking about Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and places like that. This we actually got at a small shop in Newport, Rhode Island when we were on vacation. We show this at the end of every show, as long as I remember to do it, to tell you to relax, to breathe from the diaphragm, love one another, and don't forget to love yourself. Because everybody here at the Jim Master Show Live, our international audience, you're all welcome. Doesn't matter your gender, religious beliefs, if any, political bent, or your zip code, income level, height, weight, eye color, gender at all. None of it matters. You're all welcome to join us. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific here on the Jim Master Show Live, and relax. Also joining us tonight, all the cast of characters, Gilligan and Silver and Jimmy the Clown and Jeannie and her bottle. And of course, your friend, George Burns is here. George Burns says a good night to all of you as well. The big panda Lin is over there, fell asleep. We'll have Lin on again as well. We had Lin on last Saturday. So there's George Burns wishing you all well. And of course, I do. We've got a busy continued week of guests coming up. So spread the word. Tell everybody about our show. Share the links. Love our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. We would love that as we continue to build that. And again, it's a beautiful thing when we're all together, isn't it? A beautiful thing when it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers used to say. And somebody called me recently, I think I mentioned it on the show, a Mr. Rogers for adults. I think that's really cool. Somebody said that I was a Mr. Rogers, a Fred Rogers for adults. That's kind of cool. Lovely hug. Stay safe. You too, Kathleen. We appreciate that. Christine says, thanks for a fabulous evening together with our beautiful conversation with Ned. See you all tomorrow. Good night, Jim and lovely friends. Till next time. You too as well, Christine in North Carolina. Lovely hugs from Kathleen in New York City. You too as well. Kathy Short, nice conversation tonight. Thanks, Jim. See you next time. Kathy Short in Cleveland. Good night to you, Kathy. Garland Thompson Jr. Solid advice, Jim. You're amazing. Have a great night. You too, my friend. Hopefully we'll be getting together real soon and look forward to that. Last time, again, we painted Hollywood red. Now it's time to do it again. Maybe it's on the East Coast. Good night, all from Renee. I hope that tornado doesn't come your way in Iowa. Great show. Thanks, Jim. Good night, everyone. Juanita as well. You too. Have a great night, Jim. Good night, all from Kathleen. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Mona, Jim, great show tonight. Hope you and the lovelies have a great rest of your night. Thanks again for tonight. My pleasure. Mona, we thank you very much. Love having you here. as well. Thanks, Jim and Ned from Kathleen. My pleasure, and I'm sure Ned's pleasure as well. Maureen, tight hugs to you, Jim, and my Levity family. Love you all. And there's our group hug, right? Our group Levity hug for everybody. Get us through to the next day, tomorrow, when we're back on the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Good night, Maureen. You have a great night as well. I agree. And Sherry Lee Leonard, very sweet. Lovely hug back to you. You as well. Gang, it's always a pleasure when you join us here on the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation with inspiring conversation, great entertainment, amazing guests, lots of levity and so much more. And every day is something different on our show. We are a traditional talk show, bringing back the lost art of conversation with that old school formula of warmth and welcoming, with a modern vibe and twist for today. Amy says, good night, Levities, until tomorrow. This is your host, Jim Master, as always, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time. Hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. We sure did. And all the Levities around the world, our Levity squad, thank you very much for joining us. Always a pleasure when you guys are here. And always a blessing. We're going to show some more of those great comments from our guests who've been with us as well. Tomorrow we'll do that. And again, just a blessing to have you here on the Jim Master Show Live. So thanks for joining us, gang. We love you all. You guys have a good night. Take care and be well.